All right. Let's see. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Rethink Madness Moments, the evening edition. And this is the book launch. Woo! Book launch, Are You Lit? Leaders Intentionally Trailblazing. And I am so excited to be here and to have my amazing co-host here and guests. And so before we get into deeply, will you do me a favor and share the broadcast, invite someone into the conversation? And I am going to do the same. So share it to your page. We are live on my page right now. So I'm going to share it in the group. If you have groups that can benefit from it, then go ahead and share it right there. But we're here to celebrate the release of my book, Are You Lit? Leaders Intentionally Trailblazing, myself and 9 other co-authors. And we are on our way to number 1. Okay, so if you have not gotten the book as of yet, you still have time. You still have time, and I'm going to put the link in so that you can jump in there and obtain the book. And we would really appreciate your support. We would appreciate your support. So thank you so much for everybody being here tonight. And I'm going to introduce. Well, first, let me put this link in here so that I can be focused. Let's see. There it is.
Yeah, we don't want no madness.
Right. So we are so again, I am Tanisha Carroll, music therapy expert, coaching moms of twin daughters, how to navigate their relationship with humility and grace to resolve conflict, to rethink madness, using music therapy, biblical principles, and clarity to get you on assignment. And it's about that, being on assignment as a mom. And this, Are You Lit? Leaders Intentionally Trailblazing. Over here, mommy and me, we are trailblazing in the area of mother-daughter relationships and female relationships. And so I want to welcome my co-host, Dr. Roz Knight in Warfield, and she is my friend and my sister, and she's going to ask us and talk to us about the book a little bit and invite you into the conversation. And also I want to welcome Miss Sharice Thomas, and she is a dear friend from many years ago, and she's a mom of tweens, and she is navigating this relationship in a whole new way, and she has been a part of this book process. And so we're going to have a great conversation, and so I'm going to turn this time over to Roz.
Wow, this is such an honor and a pleasure to be with my dear friend. I think the Holy Spirit just nudged her over to me to ask me to do this service because she knows I love acronyms. So this is an awesome, awesome, awesome book. I want to say congratulations to you, Tanisha Carroll, for your words of encouragement. I have children all over the world. I have not had one from this body, but I thank you for that. But guess what? While I was looking over the story, it helped me just as much because there have been many things happening. It's not just about the relational currency of a mom and a daughter. It's about communication and having peace with anybody that you have an assignment. And I say that, no pun intended, because Tanisha has her organization On Assignment. And I want to say also congratulations to the visionary, Dr. Doreen Lettsome Reid. So the first question I want to ask is, what was the process, Tanisha Carroll, when, or even just to keep it real, because life is real. We've been in this COVID situation, humanity dealing with our born again self, our rational self. Just share how Rethink the Madness came about and those words of empowerment, if you can share with them what the breakdown of madness is.
Absolutely. So here in Mommy and Me on Assignment, we are rethinking madness. And what we've done is change the definition of the word madness. We changed the spelling and the definition because, you know, madness, you think about anger, you think about frustration, you think about chaos. And when it comes to raising children, it can feel like that, okay? It can feel like the world is turning upside down. You don't know which way to go. But what we have chosen to do is change that and change the narrative and shift it so that we are not feeling like, as parents, we are living in a chaotic world in relationship with our children. And so now, instead of it being chaos, it is motivating accountability with determination to avoid distractions, with necessity to achieve eternal success and satisfaction. And so that my coach, Doreen Lettsome Reid, is the one who helped, by the power of the Holy Spirit, truly, to get that really nailed down. Because anybody who knows Coach Doreen, she's a wordsmith. She really is. And she loves words, and she's like you in that she loves a good acronym. You know, she loves a good catchphrase. And so when I began to share with her my heart as it relates to mothers, as it relates to what I have been doing and what I want to do, this Mommy and Me on Assignment came together. And then we begin to talk about how moms, we have to approach motherhood and parenting differently than our parents did. There's things that we can keep, but there's some things that we need to rethink. And so that's why we came up with this phrase, Rethink Madness. And it is now the foundation and on which I am building my coaching business. And it's also the title of my chapter.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that share. And we're going to go back and forth. So I'm going to go over to the reader, Sharice. Even though y'all have been friends for many years,
yes,
I know that, like, you know, I availed this position because my love for words and acronyms. Mm-hmm. You all are in the same lane, being a mother and mm-hmm. also having tweeners. So mm-hmm. share about what you read that gave you support to know that you are not the only one by yourself.
It actually comes back to how the book was broken down as she talked about the acronym, but the one that always stood out for me in part of the acronym was that accountability. A lot of times we don't want to take accountability for our own actions and to how we respond, you know, to our children and what they're going through. And we forget that we were once their age too. It's like, oh no, hold up, you doing what? You know, and we just, you know, have that madness, have that anger, that frustration, because, you know, we want the best. And we grew up in that age where, you know, our parents, at least for me, was, I want you to be better than I was. I want you to do certain things different. And we have to understand and accept that it really is a different generation. A lot of the stuff that the kids are experiencing now is nothing that we experienced. And so it makes it hard to try to relate. So I like the way that she breaks it down. She brings something that is universal to everybody, which is music. And so I like how it is implied in there and how you can take it. It lets you take a moment to kind of think like, well, what will work with my child? I know we struggled at first trying to find a song that was would work for all of us in the house, because I felt like even though specifically we were trying to focus on the tweens, but my youngest, who is 4, you know, she wants to be included in everything. So we actually was able to find a song that was called Be Like Gray, and all of them know the words except for me. But you know, every time they are working my last nerve and I want them to do something, it's like, okay, let's turn on this, because we can all relate and we can have that moment. And that's really what the book is discussing, is, you know, how to you know, take accountability, determination, avoiding those extra distractions. And as you can hear, my little one in the background singing the song, she heard it, so so she's singing it. But you know, that's good. That's a testimony right there. So you know that this is what's going on in my house. So yes.
That's awesome, Sharice. And you know what? You can't make this stuff up. But the thing about it, I take that as a witness for any mom who may be watching. And something that you said that was very important is the generational collaboration that needs to be handled in a family, you know, in the household, in the home, so that there isn't separation. Because, you know, there was nothing for us to not be sitting at the table. And now these days, they're walking off into rooms at different areas. Or have you noticed when you even go into a restaurant, everybody's head is down looking at their cell phones? So yes, the motivation of a mother and their tweener. The accountability by far is definite. And then even from the distractions, distraction can be a positive and or a negative. And at this moment, you held 10, you did well, and she kept singing. And see, God will help you do all of that, you know, when you keep a peace from within. So thank you for that share. Let's go to the accountability and determination, Tanisha. Talk about that accountability, and then how we can be determined to hold on to that accountability.
You know, for one thing, we have to be accountable to ourselves. We have to be accountable to the Father. Often we want our children to be accountable, but we are not setting that type of example. And so that motivating accountability is like, I gotta be motivated. I have to be assured to remain accountable, not only to what I have to do, or not only about what my tween is trying to do, but what am I supposed to be doing, and what kind of example am I setting? And the truth is that determination has to be that no matter what, I'm not going to waver. I'm not going to waver, even though there's going to be days. There's going to be days where you think that whatever it is that your tween is doing, because as tweens, they are looking to expand. They're trying to test limits. They want to try new things. They want to have a little bit more freedom, you know, but they're not quite ready yet for as much as they believe they're ready for. And so as a mom, you know, we're talking about being determined to hold fast to your foundation, your belief system, because in this world, you know, you'll look at, if you get off course, if you turn your eyes to the left or to the right, you can easily look at someone else and be like, oh, well, they're doing this. I wonder if that's what I should do. But we have to be steadfast and unmovable and focus in with the greater one, so that we can go to him so that he can empower us to be determined that no, I know what the foundation is. I know that he's going to guide me and lead me, and it might not look like what best friend is doing. It might not look like what the other tween moms are doing, but this is what we're going to do. And we're going to stay on this path, because this path, one of the things that I say all the time is that it's not about perfection. It's about heading in the right direction. And that direction is toward the greater one. If I'm headed toward the greater one, if I'm turned that way, then I can remain determined. And even when I feel like I'm overwhelmed, I have to put the song on, and we call it affirmative anthem. We put our song on, and that song resets us. It recalibrates us. It gets us back focused, so that not only am I motivated to continue, not only am I accountable to the Father, I'm accountable to myself, and I'm accountable to my daughter, because this relationship is reciprocal. And then I can continue to be determined that no matter what it looks like, I know where I'm headed. I'm headed towards the greater one.
Wow, that's awesome. It makes me think with since the beginning of the show, I can't say it, so y'all help me. When the parent needs to be the role model and the child is looking, and Mama used to say, don't do what I say, just how does that go? How did that go, y'all? Don't do what I say, just say
Do
what
as
I said.
do as I say, not as I do.
As I do. But the thing about it, now y'all correct me if I'm wrong, because Tanisha knows I'm gonna be just as free. When the parent says that, and the parent is the role model, and they're not doing, but they're still chastising the child and not helping to cultivate a habit. Was I off base?
You're on target. And
No, you're definitely on target.
That's why we have to rethink madness, because that right here is madness.
Yes, absolutely. And I definitely, I like the way that, you know, not only is it the music therapy that she's incorporating, but it goes back to, she also implemented in the book, you know, the biblical principles. And I think that that's very important, because, you know, we've taken, you know, church out of the schools. So, you know, it's very important, at least in my household, to have that foundation. It is what I grew up on, and it has sustained me. And, you know, I think back, like, we didn't necessarily do the anthem in our house, but if you guys can relate, I do remember, like, Sunday would be the cleaning day, and mom would put on that old school music, and you knew what time it was. And, you know, I'm not like the cleaner, but it always made me feel like, okay, I'm in this, like, I'm in a zone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can do this. And I feel like, again, you know, like you're talking about, you want that motivation, you want that determination, you want that accountability. And when you have those, not only in a song, but you're also demonstrating it as, you know, as a mother that's saying, like, okay, you know, I don't want you to give up on what you're doing. Like, if you're struggling, I want us to be able to have that conversation. I don't want you to feel like you have to go out here and seek everything from what's outside these doors, because what you may be getting from them may not always be the correct answer. So I think that all of this that, you know, she has that, that Miss Carol has decided to incorporate is a foundation for not only just the tween girls, if you really think about it, because again, we're talking about music and it's universal. You can also, you know, incorporate it with, you know, your tween sons, your teen sons. Cause like for me, I have twins. So again, it was universal for everybody in my household. So like I said, we all relate to that particular song, and that was important for us.
Yes, yes.
Did she say tween? Did you say twins?
She said twins. Twins.
Yeah, and they're both 11. So
okay.
She didn't think of it. She didn't missed that.
So you gotta rethink madness in a double portion.
I do. And you know, boys are a whole nother time, another topic. But I do want to say that it still is something important that it can, you know, even though the focus is definitely on our tween daughters, it is something that still can be universal in terms of being able to use it with your sons as well, because we are, like I said, talking about music therapy, and it's something that, you know, you don't have to be a great singer. You don't have to be, you know what I'm saying? Like you get
Yeah.
to just be you. And a lot of times that's what's the struggle right now is a lot of our kids are having identity crisis. You know, they're not sure who they are, where they want to go. And they're not always having those positive role models, you know, those examples in front of them. So I think, you know, definitely being able to sit down and, you know, really have those conversations, because we know that just like these commercials, music is impressionable.
Yes.
You know, that's why everything has a theme.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
You know what, Sheree, you said something that's very key, because knowing that our kids have all of these concerns and issues, I can't remember the scripture. I think it's Proverbs 4:23, the heart and then the issues. When we think about the expert being Tanisha Carroll, I want to call her Dr. Carroll, because PR is driving results. She was driving results as she had her one-on-one time with the father, working with the visionary to do the rethink of madness. And the thing about it, you incorporated to have your 4-year-old available. We see that it's pressed upon her heart, because we just had, you know, I'm wishing we kind of turned the camera on her. But the thing about it is, now that she's gotten into her song, now there's going to be another level, because for every generation in your home, then maybe there can be a song that would incorporate them. So when different scenarios happen in the song, maybe it's the 4-year-old, she's having a moment, we play her song and everybody joins in, or who's available. Then when it's the 11-year-olds, play their song, and it takes you into a different place. I think it helps with what I call the dose. The dopamine, the oxytocin, the serotonin, the endorphins. You know, God made us intricately so complex and special, you know, that would help. So that was good. So Dr. Carroll. It means driving results. So Dr. Carroll, that last portion of the booking, y'all have got to go. We want to do a plug. Go get your book. Not only just do the I need to make sure, but not just the Kindle, but I hope, because you know I'm old school, I like hard copy. Will that eventually come?
It is gonna come, but it's not out yet. The hard copy is not out yet. So we're just pushing the ebook right now.
Okay, good deal. So I just want to let y'all know y'all get two, like Sharice has twins, double portion, go get the Kindle and the hard book. So Tanisha Carroll, talk about the last portion, how you just share the power of the summing up of this chapter, that you want the key points that you want the people to get out as it related to madness.
Yeah, well, I think it's so important that we realize that when we rethink madness, I mean, our true goal is that we want to walk in a place of satisfaction. We want to live a life that's satisfying. You know, we don't want to live a life of madness as the world has defined it. And so when we use this, when we think about eternal success and satisfaction, eternal meaning that this is something that goes on. It's not just for now, it is forever. And that is because we have made the Father the center of what we do and the focus. And yes, we utilize music, but of course we know he created that too. But we have to think beyond what we see with our natural eyes and understand that our satisfaction is found in him. And we as moms, we need to be that kind of example so that our daughters, just as you said, you know, the 4-year-old is now she's getting this a little bit sooner than the 11-year-old got it. And so we're implementing so that by the time she's 11, this is going to be old hat for her. And being able to utilize, you know, thinking about this motivation and thinking about utilizing music, you know, when you're upset as a tool instead of just flying off the handle. And so it is my hope that people will understand that this book is a tool to encourage and to strengthen you to know that there's things that have been put inside of you that you need to get out, that you need to express, that you need to share. And I'm your example. I did it, and now you know that you can do it as well. And as moms, sometimes we do not accept or acknowledge the fact that we have our own dreams and desires. We have things that we want to do, but we're so caught up in the lives of our children and our husbands and our, whatever, our parents even, that we forget about us. And so I want to encourage every mom, don't forget about you. Don't forget about what the Father put in your heart. What assignment has He given you to complete? Because although part of it is raising your child, it's not all of it. It's not the end of it. It's not the final thing. And so there's so many things that you have to put out into this world and to fulfill your assignment. And guess what? Your tween needs to see you doing that. She needs to see you fulfilling your heart's desire so that she can know that, hey, my mom, she was a mom. She was a great mom, and she made her dreams come true, okay? And we need to know that. And so I hope that everybody will grab it, go. The link is in there. I hope that you'll go and grab it and also write us a review because we're trying to become #1 bestseller, okay?
Will be.
Yes.
So, Tanisha Carroll, I want you to go over madness one more time for the people.
Okay, so madness is motivating accountability with determination to avoid distractions with necessity to achieve eternal success and satisfaction.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So y'all know what to do. Go get your copies. And my folk who are on my page, I want to let you know, Tanisha, I think I left off a D, but that wasn't, I was moving.
There's 2 Ds, yeah.
I know. But I want y'all to go get your copies. And the thing about this Rethink Madness, once again, as I started it all, we've been in 3 years of not knowing what the future will hold. And it's not just the relational currency of a mother and a daughter. It's even dealing around first in our own self, our home, our community, our state, our country, the world. And this Rethink the Madness was a definite download to Tanisha that is awesome to help everybody because I love it. Motivating accountability with determination while avoiding distractions with a necessity to achieve eternal success and satisfaction. Now, the avoiding satisfactions, we want to avoid them, but what are the things that are in our control and not in our control? But with this teaching to rethink, it will help you to understand, to continue to mature and grow. So y'all, this has been an awesome thing. Dr. Carroll, you have anything else?
You are funny. No, I want to let Sharice close out and say, if you have anything, any thoughts that you want to share before we go.
Yes, I would just like to encourage everyone, definitely download the book. It's definitely worth it. And try it. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like a lot of times, and it talks about it in the book, we have this fear, the rejection, we're unsure about this, but you know what? You never know what you can do or what you can get out of something unless you try. So, because at first, let me be very honest, I was very hesitant. I was like, oh Lord, because, here's my daughter. She comes to me and she's like putting on all these like slow, sad songs. And I'm like, that is not getting me motivated to do absolutely nothing. Like, okay, you want to see mommy cry? Like, that's about it. So, us having like that upbeat, song, I was like, okay. And then it was relatable. And that was, definitely what worked, for us. So I encourage everyone to, again, download the book, Rethink the Madness. step out on faith, trust that, this pandemic, none of us was really prepared for it, but we're somewhat out of it. You know what I'm saying? We still got things that are still occurring around us, but, not only do we need to just rethink the madness, we need to rethink everything, and in that process of rethinking everything, find those tools that work. And music therapy is one that, remember, we had, oh my goodness, I'm probably gonna mess it up, but it was this DJ that was coming on all the time, and he was playing a lot of the old school musics and stuff.
Oh yeah,
yeah, well, not just DJ D Nice, it was another one that was, I think of his name, but DJ Nice was another one that kept us all, relatable with the music and everything. So again, we know it's out there. It's something definitely easy for everyone to do. Some people still got, the CDs and the albums. I still have some 45s, and I am not that old. I still have some 45s in my house. So I'm saying, put them on, find that song, and because how you feel. Like, do you remember back in the day when, you guys used to, for those of you that, attend church and can relate, but remember how you felt with, even if it wasn't necessarily church, but you were going to some event, when you put on those nice clothes, it changed you.
Yeah.
It made you feel some kind of way. So when you're rethinking that madness, put that song on. I'm telling you, it's going to change you. It's going to make you feel like, I know I was upset. What was I upset about? I was upset about something she did.
I love it.
So that's what I have to say.
Tanisha, Cherie said something when she said her daughter was playing slow music, but we've got to pay attention to the things along the way, because that would have been a good opening. And I'm sure that Cherise asked, hey, baby, why do you feel this way? Because we don't want to just play the music and hear the beat. What are the words of the artist also? And even as we go through the music therapy and we want to rethink the madness, I pray that parents are paying attention, because we're in a different society of audibility. Even what we know, Tanisha, from Clubhouse, people are listening to things more than they're really watching. What is going into their spirit? So that just came into my spirit when Cherise shared that parents pay attention to the puzzle pieces of your children. Eat at the table, ask what's going on, whether they think it's boring or not. And that say, you do what I say and don't do what I don't do, or how would that go?
Right.
Don't be on your cell phone and you telling your not to be on their cell phone.
Exactly.
Engage, rethink the madness, and look eye to eye. Get them to hold their head up, roll their shoulders back. And like you said, when we do get dressed, we do things. But how do we dress in the spiritual clothes of the Father and be able to have that same energy and tenacity? So determination, the deep.
That's right.
It's so good. It's so good. And I'm so grateful, Cherise, for your testimony about it, that it does work. And so, I just want to encourage moms who are, in a place of frustration when it comes to their 8 to 12-year-old, reach out and inbox me, get the book. But also reach out and inbox me, because there's some things. And also I'm in Clubhouse every Monday, Mommy and Me, and we're talking about these things. So every Monday in the Confident Women Incubator Clubhouse, I'm there at 7 p.m. Eastern. So come so that we can walk through these challenges that we have as moms, because, another way that we have to rethink madness is thinking that we can do these things on our own, when really we need a community, we need some help.
Yes, relational currency and collaborative intelligence is
yeah. So I'm so grateful. Ladies, thank y'all so much for being here tonight to celebrate.
Yes. Yes, thank you. You guys are awesome.
I appreciate it.
Definitely pleasurable.
Yes. So everybody, it's Are You Lit? Leaders Intentionally Trailblazing. And if you haven't figured it out by now, Rethink Madness, we are absolutely trailblazing over here and doing something that is not commonly done. And so I want to invite you to grab the book. And I also want to invite you to come over to Clubhouse and follow me at Tanisha C so that we could talk about Rethinking Madness. Here on Facebook, you could go to Mommy and Me because I also have a group here. And I want to thank you, Dr. Roz, for being our expert host tonight.
This is amazing.
Yes, and I want to thank you, Cherise, for coming and giving your input as a reader and experiencing Mommy and Me. Thank you so much for sharing and for utilizing these tools in your life. I'm excited for what is going on in your life and how it's benefiting you. So
thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you guys all for being here. This is Rethink Madness, the evening edition. We appreciate you. And we put the link in here for you so that you can grab the book and connect with all of us, because we can if we just go by ourselves, we're just going to go a little ways. But if we go together, we can go far. So thank you and have an amazing night. Bye.